If you want to set yourself up for financial freedom early on, I'm talking about fresh out of high school, 18, 19, the only way you're going to be able to do that, the fast way, is working a blue collar job or being in a blue collar field. Now, when I was 18 and 19, I bounced between three different ones: construction, oil field, and then trucking. And in today's video, I'm gonna basically be going over how I was able to make high five figures at the age of 19. Now, at the age of 19, that's when I first got my CDL. I landed my first trucking job. That trucking job paid me anywhere between 40 to 45K a year, which was good money for a 19-year-old. I averaged anywhere between 3,000 to 3,600 a month. And my only expenses at the time was living with my parents and also having car insurance, which, I was able to put back a lot of money. And you making that type of money at the age of 19, you just want to spend, especially if you never had that type of money. But that's when I start learning like discipline and also like sacrificing. Now, at this time, I had friends that was going to college, getting into student loan debt. And then I also had friends that was working normal jobs, but they wasn't financially responsible. Like they was just buying cars, doing dumb stuff, out partying, hanging out, stuff like that. So nothing really productive towards building their future financially. Now, whenever I first started this trucking job, I was making good money. First year, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm killing it. Like they like to say, you putting in the work, you making the money. So that's what I did. First couple months, I was doing pretty well. Like I said, I averaged anywhere between 3 to 3,600 a month. But I realized that because at this time, I'm like literally y'all putting in the work, waking up at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, even though I didn't have to. Like my route didn't start to 5, but I'm just like, yeah, man, I want to get it. But I noticed that at this time that me doing extra loads and me working extra hours really didn't get me nowhere. Like my paycheck was still in the same range. So it didn't matter if I did those things because at the end of the day, my paycheck was still the same. And this was kind of like a business lesson to me because I'm like, man, I'm doing all this hard work for this job and I'm still getting paid the same. That's when I learned that no company will really pay you what you're worth. So the business lesson for me was use trucking as a stepping stone to invest into my own business. That way I opened up my, vision or my earning potential to be unlimited and not capped. So that was pretty cool and dope. Now, like I said, at the age of 19, I was living with my parents. I don't come from a well-to-do family. We not rich. So I had to help my parents pay bills, which is cool. I didn't complain about it. And also it taught me like a real life lesson because it's like if you're 19 working a full 9-to-5 job and you having to pay some type of bills, it kind of like help you out in the future because some 18, 19-year-olds, like the ones that go to college, their parents help them out. So you kind of get the luxury of learning that stuff early on. So at the time, helping my parents pay some bills. And also I had car insurance. Now my car insurance wasn't super duper expensive. I think I was paying like $250 to $300 for like full coverage. So my monthly expenses was about $500 to $600, which like I said, is perfect. That's still me putting back a lot of money. So at this time of me working this trucking job, I leveraged living with my parents and, grinding and sacrificing, saving money to invest into my future. Because at the age of 19, early 20s, you want to go buy all these things, especially if you never had those things, which I had people around me doing those things. But I always knew the end all be all goal, which is to set myself up for financial freedom. And financial freedom don't mean like you're going to be rich. It's just like you setting yourself up in the future. That way, if you decide you want to start your own business, you can fund it yourself. Now, at the time, I was learning different things. I will argue that the things I was learning, college really don't teach. So like I said, paying bills early on, some kids got the luxury of their parents at the age of 18 and 19 paying their bills. I didn't have that. I had to be financially disciplined with my money, which was tough to do at the age 18 and 19 because like I said, you just want to spend. At the trucking job, I learned time management. One thing I'll never forget is, doing these deliveries and I'm talking to people and I'm like, if I'm on time, I'm late. But if I'm early, I'm on time. So that's something that kind of like stuck with me, which is why I was getting up super duper early, like at 3. Like I mentioned, my route didn't start till 5 a.m. But here I am up at 3 a.m. running real hard. So I don't know. It's a mindset thing. Even though I wasn't getting paid for it, I was exercising that muscle of just showing up. So, which was a good thing. And also I learned, like I said, that in working a job 9 to 5, no company really going to pay you what you're worth. They're going to pay you what they able to pay you, even if you go above and beyond for them. So at the time I used trucking to basically fund what I'm currently doing now. And at the time of me driving trucks, a lot of people like to listen to music, talk on the phone. No, I knew my future was big. So what I did is I listened to podcasts. I was listening to business podcasts, finance, and learning how to invest my money. So I was working hard, consuming the right type of knowledge, and also saving my money for my future, which is super good and super important, especially as a young man. Basically planning for your future, which if you're 18 and 19, you doing that early on, whew, ain't no telling what your future gonna look like, because it's compounding interest. You doing that. At the time, it might not feel like nothing, but later down the line, you like, oh man, thank God I did that. So basically, I was able to self-fund everything that I'm currently doing now, which not a lot of people can do that, especially like if you go to college. The only way you can fund a business after going to college is if you have parents' money. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a lot of harsh lessons you learn being in the blue collar field early on, which is good at the end of the day if you got like a business mindset. Now, how trucking set me up for success in the rideshare business was I was already thinking like a business owner, because I knew like this trucking job not paying me what I'm worth. And to be honest, it's fair, because all I'm doing is driving a truck. There's no real skills you have to learn. Anybody can drive a truck, right? So I thought that was fair, but it's like, okay, cool. I'm not thinking like an employee. I'm using this job as a stepping stone. And pretty much every check I got, I saved, which helped me out now, especially in the future, because I was able to scale very quickly in the rideshare business. All of my checks went to, I didn't know at the time, because me getting into this business was an accident. Literally, I got in a car accident, but everything I had saved from 19 up until now, 25, 26, was funding my business, buying SUVs, being able to afford licenses and permits, insurance, all of that. So everything I did early on pretty much helped me out, or helped me get well established to self-fund my business. So I didn't need any help or assistance, because I was already on point as a young man. So also another thing, I also understood customer service and hospitality and professionalism as well. So me starting a business, it was just like ABC 1, 2, 3. I already knew I had the mindset before I actually got into this business of what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna do it. So I was pre-planning as I was getting into this business, which, at the end of the day, if you want to be successful, you're going to do whatever it takes to get you to that next level. Now, the point of this video is not to bash college or bash working a normal job. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with those things. I think everybody's path is different. But if you really want truly financial freedom, I don't think you're going to get that going to college unless you got parents' money. That's just my view on it, to be honest. Yeah, because student loan debt, it catch up with you, so being able to get into a blue collar field where the entry level not as high, meaning you don't have to get into student loan debt just for a 50 to 60K year degree, I think is better. And I think you learn more life lessons early on, faster, working a blue collar field. Now, you setting yourself up for financial freedom. Once again, it's not you building wealth. It's just you being able to invest into your future self, which is very important. And then as you work these blue collar jobs, you learn real life experiences, also business experiences. And the tip I can give y'all is if you work in these jobs, don't just think like an employee. Be at that job learning how they run these systems. Like when I was working a trucking job, I'm like, okay, cool. They working with these companies. We deliver here. And I'm talking to people in the office like, hey, how y'all get these contracts? Yada, yada, yada. So I'm kind of like trying to see how they ran their business and how they were successful. Because if they was able to hire me and pay me 60 to 70K or 40 to 45K, that means they successful to a certain extent. So I'm like, let me learn this. So I developed my entrepreneur mindset through, working a blue collar job and just knowing that I wanted better to myself. Sorry, knowing that I wanted better for myself. So point of this video is, if you're a young man, young woman out there, 18, 19, get into a trade that can pay you a good amount of money early on, and you can just stack and save that money. Don't just stack and save that money, but also be investing into your knowledge. Super important. Have to be educated. You cannot be just the average Joe Schmo going through life or just showing up to a job just for a paycheck. No, not if you want true financial freedom. So that's pretty much it. That's all I got for y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope this video helped y'all out a lot with y'all future endeavors. But with that being said, I'll catch y'all next video.